So the day that I was able to quit my corporate job and go and travel the world was literally one of the best days of my life. Now that was back in 2017. And since then, I've been able to literally travel all around the world. Right now, I currently live in Dubai, but over the last few years, I've lived in all sorts of different places, from Medellin, Colombia in South America. I've lived in Mexico, Barcelona, Marbella, Cape Town in South Africa. I've traveled all across Europe. And I've been able to do that successfully over the past few years whilst having an online income. Now, if you're watching this video, you're probably thinking of two things right now. Number one, this guy looks like a bit of a twat. He's clickbait me into watching a YouTube video by talking about money in his headline. And I'm sorry for that, honestly. I really don't like talking about income or money too much, but it does help get the clicks. So I've sold my soul for the algorithm. I apologize for that, but I will make this video worth it for you. But you're also probably thinking, number two, how do you do it, right? So that's what I want to break down in this video. So obviously, if you have dreams right now where maybe you don't enjoy your 9-to-5 job, or maybe you enjoy it, but you just kind of been doing it for a long time and you're sick of it, you want change. Maybe you've been, looking on YouTube and Instagram, and you see these people like making money, traveling the world, and you're like, shit, I maybe don't need to become a billionaire or a millionaire, but even if I could just have a business or a job that allows me to travel, earn money whilst I'll travel, that's good enough for me. Because that's what I wanted, right? I didn't have goals of being a billionaire or making fucking gazillion dollars. It was purely, how can I work for myself, travel, and make a decent income whilst doing all the things I love, which is, traveling to different countries, working out in the gym, just like regular stuff that a lot of normal people want. So obviously, if you want to do that and you want to be able to go and travel, then the first thing that you need to do is obviously have an income that sustains that. Now, for most people, you're not going to find a job that allows you to travel to different countries on different time zones and have days off whenever you want, right? For most part, it's just not realistic to be able to do that. So you're going to have to start a business, right? So you're going to have to sell something yourself that makes money. That's just a simple fact. Now, running a business doesn't mean you have to have a big team, spend lots of money, manage employees, have an office or anything like that. Obviously, we're in 2024, right? You can run a business by yourself, a one-man show if you want. And I did that for a long time. And you can just work for yourself and sell something and make money, okay? So that's the first thing. You're going to have to start a business, but it's not as scary or as hard as you may think. Number two, you need to decide what to sell. So you got a couple of different options, okay? Well, actually, no, you've only got one option, right? You want to sell some form of service, because when you start out in business, you can either sell a service or you can sell a product. Now, a product that, if you're a beginner, don't sell a product, because if you want to create a really good product, it usually takes a lot of time, a lot of experience, and in most cases, a lot of money. And if you're a beginner that wants the easiest way to just make 5 to 10K a month so you can travel the world whilst running the business, don't start a product. If you're really passionate about building a brand and you want to become the next fucking George Heaton and build, the next Represent, then cool. Go and build some form of product or e-com product. This is not the video for you. This is for someone who wants to earn a good income whilst having the freedom to kind of travel and do what they want. So you're going to want to start a service. What is a service? Well, a service, it doesn't cost you anything to create, but you do have to deliver the service. So the service takes time, which again, if you're starting out, you probably have more time than money. So that's why a service makes sense. Okay? So you're gonna start a business and you're gonna sell a service. Now you're asking, Sam, what fucking service should I sell? Right? Again, if you're passionate about something, or if you're really skilled at something, then maybe look at delivering a service on that. But what you want to make sure, the type of service that you decide to sell is something that makes the end client more money, okay? So you need to make sure whatever you sell makes your end client more money. Now, typically, that is some form of marketing service, because if you deliver a marketing service, usually that has an ROI and it brings them more leads, or it brings them more customers. Why do we want to do that? Because, well, if you're charging your end client a certain amount of money, let's say you charge them 2K per month or 4K per month or 5K per month, whatever it is, if they're going to continue to pay that, you need to very clearly show them that they are getting a return on that money that they pay you. So the easiest and most tangible way to show that is by saying, hey, look how much money I made you. That's like the most no-brainer way, right? Because they can't argue with that. If they pay you 2K per month and your service brings them in 10K, that's pretty fucking good, and they will continue to pay that. If it's like an intangible service, let's even say for time, for example, like, okay, you could save them, if you deliver a service that saves them X amount of time, then, you know, maybe a sophisticated business owner will be like, okay, that's worth it. But most people aren't gonna, you know, like do that, right? It's just, you want to make it so no-brainer for your end client to keep paying you that they continue to pay you. And the best way to do that is to show them with numbers in their bank account and be like, you pay me this, I make you this. It's a good deal for both. Let's continue doing it, okay? Because that's another good thing about a service-based business. If you create a product, like a physical product, then you need to sell thousands, and you need to continue selling thousands every single month to make decent money. With a service, you can just have 2 to 3, 4, 5 clients that can pay you every single month, and that's it, right? So if you knew, you might be like, what? Someone's going to pay me like $2,000 a month? Yes. Very easily, you can get someone to pay you 2 to 5K per month, right? So if you want to get to a 10K per month mark, which will give you the extra money to kind of like travel comfortably and, you know, do whatever you want to do in life, then you only really need like around 5 to 3 clients to pay you every single month. So that's another reason why you want a service as well, because you don't need huge volume. You don't need a big personal brand where you've got like millions of views and thousands of customers. You just need to get 2 to 5 really good customers. And it's enough for you to quit your 9 to 5 and go and do what you want with your life, okay? So you're going to start a business. You're going to sell a service. It's going to be some form of marketing service that has an ROI on it, okay? Next thing, you've got to decide, okay, what type of marketing service? Because there's lots of different things that you can do, right? You can run like paid advertising for them. So you can be an advertising agency, which is the agency that I started, where you run ads on platforms like Facebook and YouTube and you generate them leads and customers. You could do other services like cold email services, where you do cold email lead generation. There's copywriting, there's funnel building, there's websites, there's content creation. All of this stuff that I just mentioned is basically done to generate the business that you work with more leads or more clients, which should turn into more money. Now, one of the things, especially if you're just starting out, and this is one of the biggest mistakes I see, is you want to choose a service or an offer in the beginning, which is what we would call an add-on or a bolt-on. So the angle that you want to go with in the beginning is that, hey, I can deliver this service for you. It's not going to, number one, take up any of your time. Number two, it's not going to affect anything that's you're currently doing in your business, i.e. it's not going to fuck up what's working in your business. It's not going to affect any of that. It's purely going to be an add-on or a bolt-on to your current business, and it's going to make you more money. That's the angle you need to go with in the beginning. What you don't want to do, and this is what a lot of people do, they'll go to a fucking business that is already making money, and then the beginner with very limited experience will go, and they don't even know this person, they're reaching out to them via cold email or a cold DM, and they're pitching them saying, hey, I can improve what you're currently doing. Or we should change this, right? It's very difficult to get someone who is currently maybe running a business, and maybe it's not as successful as they want, but it's still making them money. It's very hard to convince that person to stop what's currently making them money and then trust their entire business success on a complete stranger they've just fucking connected with in a DM. Now, if you've got huge amounts of social proof and you've worked with hundreds of clients and your process is proven, you've got so much authority and credibility and social proof in the space, then yes, you can probably convince business owners to do that. But if you're a brand new beginner and you're trying to get your first couple of clients, it's fucking stupid to go to them and expect them to change their entire business like operation and trust you to do it for them. So, like for example, if you're going to someone who's running ads on Facebook and they're actively already running ads and it's making them money, going to them and being like, hey, hire me, I'll do it better, is not the solution. Okay? Or if you are, for example, going to someone and I'm just going to reference like people selling like courses and coaching because that's just what my agency does. If you go to someone and say, hey, stop doing this VSL funnel, do a webinar funnel instead, right? Switch your sales process to something different. It's going to work better. It's going to be a very difficult sell because it could mess up what's currently making them money. And also it's going to cost them a lot of time. So what you want to do is add a bolt on, like I said, where the pitch is, I'm going to do this thing. It's going to make you more money and it's going to cost you no time. Because that's what you've got to think about as well. It's not just the cost investment of what your service is going to cost, but it's also the time investment of the person. So for example, I'll just give you an example of what worked well for us. So when I got my first batch of like really great, amazing clients for my agency, I basically found influencers on YouTube who were selling courses and coaching. And I knew they had a big following. And I knew what they were doing was already making them decent money, right? They already had funnels and offers and courses in place that was making them money. But what I knew what they weren't doing is running Facebook ads, right? And that's what my skill was in paid advertising. So I didn't go and pitch them and say, hey, let me help you with content creation, which they were already doing successfully. I didn't go and pitch them and say, hey, let me rewrite your emails, which they were already sending. I didn't say, hey, let's go and launch this like brand new offer to your warm market, because they were already monetizing the warm market, relatively successfully. My pitch to them, and I reached out to them in a Loom video, and my pitch to them was, hey, look at one of your competitors. One of your competitors is running ads. It's making them a shitload of money. How about I come in, I run ads to a product that you've already created. I will build the entire sales process. I will run the ads for you. It's going to take you absolutely no time. I'm just going to run the ads and generate you more customers. And all you got to do is pay me this fee. And in the beginning, it was a small fee and just a percentage of the profit. So you can see there, with that offer, there was no time investment for them. They weren't needing to spend any time on the funnel or the ads or anything like that. I was doing it all. It was selling a course that they already had. So they didn't need to create anything new. So that's low time risk. And then obviously with the cost, they had to pay me a small fee, but most of my money would be made in the profit of the funnel. So I was reducing the cost risk to them by saying, hey, most of the money you're going to pay me is just a profit split. So if I don't make you money, I don't get paid, right? So you've got to think about it strategically with your offers. Another example is we have, for one of our clients, a few months ago, we made them about 1.6 million in 1 month, right? And it was with this like new-ish kind of like funnel. It basically was with like a funnel, right? A sales process. Now, the thing is, that worked really well, but it was intense for the client, right? I've been working with the client for 3 years now. So we're testing different stuff and they don't mind investing time and money into what we work on because we've been working with them for 3 years. I've got that trust. This launch that made them 1.6 million, right? It took 3 weeks of their time. They had to create a load of course content. They had to do live coaching. They had to do a live selling. It was intense and it was hard, right? It obviously was profitable, but it was a lot of work. No way will I go to a new client and pitch them that offer to be like, hey, let's do this launch together. It's going to take up fucking 100 hours of your time. It's going to be intense. You're going to have to do live selling and live calls, blah, 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 right? They're not going to go for it. Okay, I'm battering this point home because I feel like this is something that is missing and a lot of new people are starting out. You need to make sure that your offer is low time risk and low cost risk for your first few clients at least. Until you have huge authority and credibility and social proof, You want to make the risk be so low for your potential client that it's just a no-brainer. And that's why I like the paid advertising angle, because I can find people that have already got products, they've already got a business, they're already making money, and I can just come in and say, hey, I'll run ads for you. No time is needed from you. We'll use stuff that you've already got. I'll do all the work and just pay me a percentage of the profit. Low time risk, low finance risk, okay? So when you offer your marketing service, you want to do an add-on or a bolt-on offer, okay? Add to what they're currently doing without it taking any of their time. And sorry, I'm just going to go off on another rant. There's another, because I get access to all my clients, a lot of my clients like DMs and emails and stuff. I see marketers pitching them and they'll be like, hey man, have you ever thought about like running a webinar for your offer? Like you'll have a client that's making, good money with like a high ticket service where they're like selling over the phone, and they'll get an agency pitch them and be like, hey man, how about doing a webinar, right? And a webinar, like they're intense, they're hard to do. It takes a lot of time from the client, and they're expecting a client just to be turned around to this complete stranger and be like, yeah man, let's spend a month's of my time and hundreds of hours perfecting a webinar with someone I don't even know. Okay, so like think add-on, bolt-on, okay? Low time risk, low cost risk to the end client. I've definitely talked about that point enough. Okay. The next up is, okay, well, I know I need like an add-on or a bolt-on offer, but like what is the actual service, okay? Now, I'm biased, okay? So just bear that in mind. I am biased towards what's worked for me because that's what I can speak about, okay? But if you're coming from a perspective of, hey, I want to earn 5 to 10K per month, but I also don't want to be chained at my desk for 14 hours a day. I do want the time to travel and explore and have a bit of time freedom, because that's what this video is about, right? Then you want to look for a service that is leveraged. So what I mean by leverage is basically like the amount you earn isn't directly proportional to the time that you put in. So you want to be able to earn more from the service without having to put in more hours. And that's why I'm not saying you have to do this, but I'm just saying what worked for me. That's why I'm a huge fan of becoming an advertiser or a media buyer. Because here's the cool thing with advertising, right? If I could spend in my clients' accounts, like, I'm going to use some round numbers. Let's say I spend $10,000, okay? And I make back my client $20,000. And let's say I have a deal with that client that they pay me 10% of the profit. So that means in that deal, in that month, I would get paid 1K per month. Fantastic, okay? Now, here's the thing. To manage around $10,000 in advertising spend in a month, if I was to increase that to $20,000, it wouldn't double my workload. It would increase it by like 1%, maybe. Like the amount of hours I put in to manage $10,000 in ad spend per month isn't that much different from managing 20,000. Now, if all things stay equal, and it doesn't always happen, but let's just, for the sake of the example, to get the point across, I then, in that next month for that client, I spend 20,000 and everything stays equal. So I double their money. So I spend 20,000 and this time I make them 40,000, which means that we make 20,000 in profit. I get 10%. I've doubled my income because they pay me 10%. That's 2K per month. So that one client has gone from a 1K per month client to a 2K per month client, and I've not worked any harder. So that's what, but for example, if it wasn't leveraged like that, it means like if I wanted to, so say for example, I was writing emails for a client and that was my service. And let's just say I agreed with the client that we would manage the email list and we send at least 3 emails out a week, right? So that'd be like 12 emails a month. And let's just say that client, again, just use round numbers, was paying me 1K per month. And it's very difficult then for me to Like if I want to earn an extra 1K per month, I need to go and find another client to pay me for sending those emails. So that's why I like advertising, because it allows you to scale up your income without working any harder. Now, you can strike deals with stuff like emails and funnel building. You can definitely strike deals where you get a percentage of the profit. So for example, even with the email marketing, you get a percentage of the profit, right? So you could, your income could increase if you make your client more money. But if you're doing like email marketing, you're reliant on that email list getting bigger. So you're actually reliant on them getting more traffic, which is out of your control. And you can't really you could send more emails, but you can't really send like double the amount of emails. Like there's a limit of how many emails you can spend per month for that client. So you're always going to be capped potentially by the size of the email list and the amount of traffic that that client can get. It's the same with a funnel, right? You could launch a funnel for a client. And even if you have a percentage of the profit, you're still capped by how many people that client can get into that funnel. If they don't get more leads, then it's going to be hard for you to make more money. That's why I like media buying and advertising, because very easily with those profit deals, you can scale up your income without working much harder. So again, it's the same with like video editing, right? You can do short form video editing for clients to help them generate more leads. But, it comes to a point where like you can't produce more videos for that person. You have to go and get another client and another client and another client if you want to continue increasing your income. Whereas with media buying, it's easier to just work with 3 to 5 clients and just grow their businesses through advertising. Make sure that what they're doing is profitable, and then you can continue to increase spend, which should increase the profit, and then that will increase the money that you get paid per month because you are increasing the profit that you're generating with them. And that's why, again, it's important to make sure that the service that you provide can be directly attributed to an increase in revenue, because we can track very clearly with the ads, this is the money we spent, these are the new customers that we brought in, therefore you pay us this much, right? It gets trickier when you do stuff like short form content, because you can't always like track, who buys from where, and, was it because of your video or was it for something else? Okay. So that's why I really still love advertising and media buying. I know some people watching this who are a bit more experienced might be like, oh, it's Facebook ads don't work anymore. YouTube ads are getting harder. Well, yeah, fucking it's getting harder, but that's better. It means it's less competition. So if you can get really fucking good at advertising and media buying, then there's not that many people who are good at it, which means you get the pick of the clients when you're at the top, okay? So that's what you want to do. You want to start a business. You want to deliver a service, not a product. You want to make sure that the skill that you pick or the service that you provide can be directly attributed to an increase in ROI for your clients so you can continue to charge them money. You want to make sure that it's a bolt-on offer, which in the beginning has no time risk or low time risk and low investment risk for the end client. So it's an easy decision for them to hire you. And then you want to make sure that what you deliver is leveraged so your income can increase without it taking over your life. And you can increase your income from 5K to 10K without having to double your workload. Those are the things that you want to look for. Now, is this easy? I did say it's easy. I was probably wrong. It's simple, not easy. Okay? It's actually very simple. You just need to go out and find businesses that need more customers, and you deliver a service that delivers more customers, and you charge them for that service every month. It's simple. Now, it's not easy. In the beginning, you aren't going to be very good. As someone, if you are new to business and you've never run a business before and you've never done marketing before, then you have absolutely no right to be any good. You are going to fucking suck. And it's okay, because everyone sucks in the beginning, but you have no right to be good at marketing, to be good at sales, to be good at outreach, to be good at business. You don't even have a right to be confident, right? Because you've not proven to anyone, even yourself, that you can do this. So it's okay. And it's very demotivating right now. I get that, but it's very okay to be shit. And for the first couple of years, or even the first 12 months, you might not make money and you might not be able to quit your job and go and travel the world. And I'll tell you why, because I made this mistake. I started my business in 2016. By the start of 2017, I quit my corporate job. Within 6 months, I was back working on, I was working in like a supplement store selling protein shakes. But after that, I was working on a fucking building site, shoveling shit, right? After I'd quit my job to go and travel the world. Because I only spent less than 12 months trying to build a business and I still wasn't making any money and I still wasn't very good. Yeah, I still went off to go and travel and I ended up completely fucking broke. And that set me back years. So don't go and do that. But in 2019 was the last job I ever had. And I quit that job. And then since then, that's when I've been able to go and travel and do all the amazing things like I mentioned. Just travel the world for the last literally 5 years. It's only now I'm in Dubai. I moved into Dubai last year. It's only now I've kind of like settled a little bit. Previous to that, I was moving around every like 3 to 6 months. But the point is that when I quit my job the first time, I still sucked and I wasn't good enough to build a business. So then I had to go back and get a job to earn income and then learn the business on the side. So I want to set your expectations. You're not going to start a business tomorrow and just fucking make $1 million. You aren't going to get to 10K per month in the first couple of months if this is the first business that you've ever started. It could happen, I suppose. I'm sure people have. I wasn't fucking lucky enough to be one of those people. It took me a lot longer. But it is possible over a 1 to 2 year period for you to be able to get enough skills and experience to be earning 6 figures a year from your laptop. And I'm going to sound spammy and hypey, but like there is literally thousands of people doing this right now. So you can definitely do it. It's possible where you can earn anywhere between 5 to 10K per month and you can have like 90+% profit margins and you can literally travel wherever the fuck you want to go. Whether you want to go like I did to South America and live in Colombia, Brazil, Argentina, or you want to live like the Bali fucking lifestyle and go to Finch Beach Club every day and get pissed, or whatever you want to fucking do, or travel around Thailand, or come to Dubai and whatever. Like, do what you want. I don't care where you go. But it's all possible. And for a lot of people working like a 9 to 5 job, 5 to 10K a month seems like a fucking dream. Because it did for me. I was like, I can't even fathom like making 10K per month. Like, it's ridiculous. But there's literally so many people doing it. All you need to do is follow the plan that I've outlined in this video and just stick to it for like a 2 year period. Like, there's not many people that have started a service-based business and continued to work on it consistently for a 2 year period that aren't making 5 to 10K per month. I would even question if anyone's done that and not made that much money. But you have to stay consistent. You can't just work on it for a few months and then stop for 6 months and then start another business, and then 2 years in, you start complaining that you haven't made any money. Don't do that. But what you can do, if you start a service-based business and you stay consistent for a 1 to 2 year period, I almost can guarantee that you will be able to replace your full-time income, right? Unless you're already like a millionaire or something. But if you're earning anywhere between like 2 to 5K per month at your current job, if you stick to a service-based business for 2 years, you will be making enough money to quit that job and go full-time and fucking go and travel the world. But unfortunately, most people have too high expectations and expect them to be making like $1 million in like a few months, or they expect it to be easy and they don't expect it to be hard. And it is hard. You have to have patience and you have to work for a long time. You have to fail and you have to try and get good. And you have to do shit that you don't want to do, like take sales calls or do outreach, like all that stuff you have to do. So it's not easy. It's not always 100% fun. But if you do have a desire to like go and travel and earn money online, then if you just stick consistently at it for like a 2 year period, your life will be fucking so much better. Like, my life is so much fucking better now than it was when I was working a corporate job. It's like unbelievable to me. Like I used to have like the Sunday anxiety where, I didn't even want to go to sleep on a Sunday because I knew when I wake up, it would be like Monday morning. I used to like fucking snooze my alarm, 100 times because I couldn't even drag myself out of bed. Now I remember I said to my girlfriend last night, like I was tired, like I was too tired to do any more like meaningful work. And it was probably at like 7 p.m. And I said to my girlfriend, I said like, I just want to go to sleep now. Like just so I can wake up. Like I want to work. Like I'm so tired that I can't physically do any good work, which is annoying. So I just want to go to sleep so I can wake up and feel rested and start working again. And that's fucking ridiculous, really. Like no one really says that about the 9-to-5 job. And that's what like building like a business that, gives you freedom and makes you a good income. That's what it does. Like it makes you excited to work. So sometimes like you have these big dreams of traveling the world, and I did as well. But then after a few years, you get bored of it. Like I got bored of traveling. Like I fucking hate airports. I don't want to travel. I just want to sit here. Like this is my favorite place in the world. Is like sitting in this office and working. Now, don't get me wrong. I still travel, go on holidays, and I still have fun. But like generally waking up and working is pretty fun for me. Like I will do that like a lot. Like on the week, like I'll do it like most days because it's what I enjoy to do. But like I said, it took me a little while to get here. It took me longer than most. I've been doing this 8 years, so I'm like a granddad. It doesn't have to take you 8 years, but it definitely will take you longer than a few months. So you just need to stick to the plan. And that's it. I've rambled. Hope this was useful for some of you. Any questions, just let me know in the comments. I'll see you later.